Hey guys, welcome to M&M Plants. Today I will be covering difference between using terracotta pots and plastic pots while doing gardening. A few differences that we need to understand so that we can decide accordingly what suits best for us. You can go for both these options. I use both of them in my gardening, so I'm not preferring one over the other, and it completely depends upon an individual what they like. But this video is just with the purpose of sharing what are the plus and minus of both having both these pots in your garden. The first most important thing, if you are very too much of environment friendly, which is not a bad thing to do, but if you are doing that ways, I mean your gardening purpose is that, then obviously you will not go for plastic pots because plastic is not eco-friendly, whereas on the other hand terracotta pots are, because even if they break they will easily submerge into the soil, so not a bad idea to have them. But obviously plastic is obviously not eco-friendly, so that is the biggest difference looking from environment point of view. But on the other hand, plastic pots will have long life because if you don't break them you can use it forever, which is not the case with terracotta pots, because after a few years you'll see that the pot it starts breaking from few areas, up there, down there, and you won't like to use it, especially if you want to keep it at the corner of the house where you want to display it. So in few years time you will have to buy new pots because it won't be that attractive which it was when you bought it newly. The second most important difference is plastic pots are light in weight lighter in weight compared to the terracotta pots. These pots are heavy, so if you are someone who is a little old enough and you have back problems and you're facing it difficult to shift the pots from one place to other, then in your case you should prefer plastic pots because it's easy to carry them like this. Even if the plant is such heavy, I can carry it with one hand, but which is not the case if I buy a same size terracotta pot. I need to use my two hands and it will be a bit heavy, so you have to identify which one would you like to go for. Another most important part to understand is evaporation of water, because when you add water to your plants you also want the water to evaporate, because if the water is locked inside the pot then obviously it will cause fungal infection to the roots, root rotting, and your plant will die. So if you are after a pot that from where the water evaporates extremely easily, then terracotta pots are the option, because the aeration is very easy to happen from all the sides of the pot, that is the wall of the pot, because there are pores and the water will evaporate very easily, which is not the case in plastic pots. Plastic pots, the water will not evaporate that easily because the water cannot evaporate from the walls of the pot. It will only evaporate from the top part and a little bit from the bottom part because it has holes. So if you are someone who loves to water your plants a lot and who kills the plants due to overwatering, then your option is terracotta pots. But if you are someone who is a little lazy, or maybe who doesn't have time and who cannot water your plants that much, and you are towards underwatering like me, then you can prefer plastic pots, because in plastic pots the water won't dry that easily. Also, I have noticed that in plastic pots fungal infection is very common because the water is not able to evaporate very easily, especially in rainy season when it rains a lot. Fungal attacks are very common, so you have to be a lot more careful with your plants in plastic pots if they are out in rain, and so that they don't die because of fungal infection or overwatering, which is not the case in terracotta pots, because the water evaporates easily. When the water evaporates easily and it's not locked inside, problems like fungal infection, root rotting is very rare. Also, sometimes you'll notice these white patches on your terracotta pots, white powdery thing on your terracotta pots, which is nothing else but salt and minerals from the water that you add to the plant. So that water, which has obviously salts and a lot of minerals, which will stick to the walls of the pots. So if you see those white powdery substance on the wall of your pots, obviously there's an extra work to do, which is cleaning the pots, cleaning those white patches, which will require time. You have to invest some time, and if you don't do it, it might not look very attractive if you have kept it at any corner of the house. In short, you can use both these pots. Everything has a plus and a minus. Every coin has two sides. You have to decide where do you want to keep these pots, what sort of work can you do, what is the location that you're looking to pot at. I normally don't think too much when I plant a plant that okay, this is my motive and I should go for a ceramic pot or a plastic pot. To be honest, I just plant whatever extra pot I have, I'll use it. But yes, if I have a plastic pot out in rain, I'll be a little more cautious and keep it a little inside where it doesn't get a lot of rainwater compared to terracotta pots. That's my only concern because of the amount of rain it has in winter season in Australia. But apart from that, everything is fine for me. But yes, the biggest thing to keep in mind is overwater and underwater. If you're towards overwatering, go for terracotta pots. If you're towards underwatering, go for plastic pots. But for more, watch out more videos on NMM plants, and do consider subscribing this channel and becoming the part of it. Bye for now.